Alright, hello, and thanks for joining me again. It's been a little while since I streamed. I just wanted to hop on and do a little bit of tower building in my tower defense game. And if you've been following along at all, then you know that I've been doing this dark-themed tower defense game in the GDevelop engine. And today I wanted to work on my... I have a green earth-themed tower, and I had a few ideas I wanted to test out, and so I'm just going to jump right into it. Also currently working on the long-form version of an AI game tutorial, so that will be coming out soon, and possibly also joining the GDevelop, I think it's their 5th game jam that they're hosting for the GDevelop specific team, and we'll see if I have time for that one. It'll be starting up in a couple of weeks, a week and a half or so. So here is the plan that I'm working on. Just a quick little spreadsheet here, nothing too in-depth, but I've already got these colors for the towers implemented in the game. So obviously if I go into the game, let's open up a preview. Here's where we are. You click on the tower, you get some button options, 8 of them at the moment. And right now if I click on them, the sprite changes and some of the behaviors change, but not much else beyond the shot type and the color, the sprite. But what I do have so far is what I've been working on, which is this green tower. Trying to decide how I want to name that, but it's an earth-themed tree, flower, flora, fauna type of tower, and I'm thinking it'll have a couple of abilities, such as an area of effect on the ground, a spike growth. It might spawn plants which generate your currency. So this would actually not be too dissimilar from Plants vs. Zombies, in which case your sunflowers pop up a little sunshine for you. And since this is a light versus darkness themed game, light itself is your currency. And so that's actually an unintentional borrow from Plants vs. Zombies, but it's obviously a very direct comparison. And so I just thought this up, and I do it into the game before I went to bed last night. So what happens if I click on the green button, I get this. And at the moment it's going to start spawning little plant entities. I think I kept it out at 3 or 4, so we'll see 3 or 4 of them pop up. And little pluses pop up periodically, showing that the light value over here on the right is also incrementing. And so that is actually functioning as intended. They're actively providing me with currency. And so as I move forward in the game, you get permanent upgrades. You can probably increase A, the number of spawns, and B, how much each one generates for you per second or per minute. And I updated the tower head here with a 33 sprite animation. It's relatively smooth. And I want to go ahead and update the shots to use essentially the same sprite sheet as well, the same batch of sprites. So let me just jump right into that. So it is currently firing. Go to my events here. I think this Earth themed tower is going to be pretty cool when we're all said and done here. Because it's going to be a combination of some solid AoE and currency generation. Okay, so right here, when the green button is clicked, it creates this version of the tower. So that's Towerhead 1, and Towerhead 1 holds different animations shown here. So there's the basic shot, and here is the Earth shot, as I've named it. So let's update this to fire. If Towerhead 1 animation is set to the Earth, fire that Earth shot. So that would be up above. Towerhead 1. Repeat for each instance of Towerhead 1. Pick enemy backers. The distance to the enemy is below a range. I'll probably need to rework a lot of this. Right now I've got Towerhead 1. I'll probably go and create a comment here so I can hopefully more easily find this section. Add comment. Towerhead 1. I might even get rid of this Towerhead 1, 2, and 3 altogether and go purely based on the animation in terms of conditions and how I want to set stuff up. So let's make this, I guess, a type of gray. Towerhead 1. And then let me copy that comment. I'll need it down here. 2 and 3. And then for Towerhead 1, it's selecting the enemy that's nearest to the end. And it's rotating it. I really want all of this to be pretty specific to the tower type, which I could easily select based on the animation of the tower itself. Or at least of the animation. The towers are actually broken into two parts. We have a base and a tower head. Both of them will ultimately have different sprites and animations. So let's decide real quick how we want to do this check. Towerhead 1. Let's add a sub-event. And we'll do, if Towerhead 1 animation by name, if the animation is Earth shot, then we'll do our thing. Let's copy and paste that, and then we'll just do the inverse of this for everything else. And let's delete whatever this disabled section is. Can't possibly need it, but I do have backups of the code events elsewhere if I need it. Okay. So let's copy that and then paste it under here. All right, and so fire a bullet. This is where I should try to change the animation. Set it to this earth shot animation. Oh, all right, yeah, delete that one. Okay, opacity still 255, fully opaque. It'll be on the base layer. So let's test that out. It should now fire a green shot that looks just like the tower head, but smaller. Okay. It does seem to be. It also seems to impact on the enemies. Look at this button I put down here earlier. I was just trying to do it real quick, but it's totally off theme because I have two buttons, the pause and the next wave, that are one style, and then I put this deconstruct to remove the towers. And I even put a dynamite as the indicator, but it's totally off theme. That was just a placeholder. Alright, well, that's working. That was quick and relatively painless. So now, as I upgrade, I think I will do away with these tower head 1, 2, 3. That was more for upgrading the basic type of tower. But I think that that would be branching off in different directions. So next, what I wanted to do was, I've got the little spawners in there. So if I go back to my planner sheet here, I've got the spawn light plants in there. It's functioning. I think later I might have the fire enemies be able to target and destroy those. But that will be for implementation on the enemy side of things. Today we're on the tower side of things. The leaf thorn spray, I think instead of that single shot that I've got it doing, I'll actually tell it to send out bursts of those shots. So I could do that. Let's see if we can do that real quick. I say real quick, let's see if we can do it at all, if we're lucky. Just got some coffee here. Alright. Alright, definitely this will be changing things changing things up. I think I want a tower, either a scene or a tower variable for this to indicate the number of shots to fire. But first, perhaps we should just try hard coding and see if we can get this functioning at all. And I haven't actually created a spray type tower before in GDevelop, so I'm trying to think of the best way to do this. So they would be, it'd be a burst, right? So you have like, 4 or 8 or 16 bullets shooting out from all directions, not targeting any specific enemy or target. Answer a text here real quick. All right, so basically I want to keep this here, but I want to put it into some sort of a loop. So let me see if just hard coding it, if I could do this. Because normally what I would do is do like place an object around another object and then move it. But in this case, I'm using the firing mechanic. So let's see what we can edit here. Target position, you know, you could literally do like x0, y0. And then what is our screen size? It is 1280 wide. So I could have one go to the other corner of the screen. Obviously you wouldn't want to do it like actually. Let me think. That would look funny though. Alright, so let's just say for testing this out, we just send one to each corner of the screen. So, this is going to be ridiculous, but fire it toward position 0, 0. Fire it toward position, so 0, and then, actually 1280. Y position 0. And then, oh gosh, what did I just do? Y position 0. Let's just see if we can even do this ridiculous thing intentionally and then move forward from there. The other one would be 720. Actually, it'd be x0. And then Y position 720. The final one would be 1280 by 720. So let's just see if we can have it send 4 shots, 1 each to the corners of the screen. Placing it on the base layer. And see how messed up this is. One other issue. No, never mind. I'm just rambling now. Alright, so I do need to get enemies in range in order for this to actually trigger. Oh, yikes. Okay, so where are those actually spawning? It looks like they're spawning in the corners. Fire bullet from tower head. Oh! Okay, yeah, that's a problem. I did the at position, or the from position, rather than the toward position. So let's change that. Alright. Dumb. Alright. Let's do this again. This time it will be toward position. 1280. Y0. And then X position 0. Y position 720. And then finally 1280 by 720. This should send them to the corners. Alright, here we go. Moment of truth. Okay, so that is in a nutshell what I'm going for. Now I just want to make this more customizable based on parameters such as how upgraded is the tower, how many shots can it have, which would come from later options in the game. And then not fixed on those hard-coded coordinates, but rather set to some sort of, based on the number of shots, divide 360 degrees by that number, and then assign the angles from there. That's what I need to figure out. They can all be created from the center, that's fine. So I'm probably going to have to do some napkin math on this, and I don't want to do it right now because I'm probably just going to mess it up. So I'm going to put a pin in this. At least we have the sort of X pattern firing going on. And then from here I want to focus on the area spike growth. So let me save this, and then oh, we got a delivery. I'm gonna go check the front door real quick. I'll be right back. All right, I'm back. It was not a present for me, but the package was safely retrieved. All right, so for our spike growth, we have a few options. We could draw a circle. We could add a sprite, a circular sprite to the tower area. So I'll show you what I mean. Right now I have this, well, you can see right there. It draws a circle from the center of the tower head, the thing that actually fires your bullets. So it looks a little off-centered from the base, and that's by design. But I want to draw a plant growth area around, kind of similar to this, but probably smaller, at least smaller to start out with. But I'm thinking of going the sprite direction because sprites have collision. Because if I don't use a sprite with collision, then I think that the alternative would be to have each enemy do a ray cast. Which would work as well. And they would do a ray cast based on the radius. Oh, I mean, I don't know. They seem equally viable to me. Why don't we try... So, for example, this, when it's making its little spawns, those are actually just hopping into the scene within a radius around. So I could use that same behavior for the spike growth and just execute it. Basically one time, just have the loop go through real quick and just put all the spikes in there. And not deal with collision. So why don't we explore that? I don't even have a sprite or anything picked out for this, so let's explore this together. Let's see if we can find a sprite that we like. Go to the asset store here, add an animation. Choose from the asset store. Let's go with Thorn. I can barely even see what these things are. Spike. Obviously, limited options here, but I just want to get something in there. You know, some programmers art just to get this implemented and then come back later and fine tune it. So I'm just looking for anything very similar. I think I had seen something, what was it called? Not TNT. I swear, I was just looking through here for something else and it popped up. Something that looked like it could serve as here we go, ice pick. So I was thinking if I take one of these, let me see, does it start from 9876? Apparently there are a lot of them. Just trying to see if it starts from 1 or starts from 0. I think it starts from 1. Let's delete this other thing. And let's add a few of those, but not all, because it'll take forever. Let me actually update the search here for ice pick underscore. All right. 2. Let's, I don't know, do say like maybe 8. Maybe 6, because I don't even know if I'll keep it. So let's see, 3. Bear with me here. I don't think that there's a way to do multiple. 4, 5, and 6. Probably need to flip these 90 degrees. I'm scared to actually hit this. Yep, because it's going to, well, that kind of works. Obviously, it's not the smoothest animation, as you can see up there on the top. So, but whatever, let's just test out this actual spike growth idea. Save that. Let's check the collision mask. That looks fine. Don't necessarily even need the collision. Here are the points. I'll put the origin in the center as well. 32, 32. Close, apply. And let's call it, let's just call it spike. So then to test this out, we'll have, let's create an object variable for tower base. This will be spike growth radius. That will be a number. I don't know. Let's just start it out at like Let's start it out at 30 or 40. Then I want to find this area here. Actually, not that area. The other one. Earth Tower. Okay. What I'll do is I will disable the Earth Tower spawn for now, so it doesn't visually clutter up what we're trying to look at. And then for each instance of the tower base for the Earth Tower, sorry, I'm just rereading some of my work here. Okay, so I had two things here. One was for the text and one was for the actual spawn. This other one is just for deleting the tower. So I don't need either of those right now. I do need a new version of repeat for each instance. So I'll drag that up here if I can. Let's just tell it to create the spikes. So let's do all of these things. Create, come on, spike. That position, tower base dot center X. So I will create each spike at the center of the base. Then I want to stick it as well. Let me make sure that it's got that behavior. Oops. Not this. Not that. Spike. Actually, stick. Okay. And then, for each instance of this tower base, create object spike at the center, stick it so that it is destroyed when the tower is destroyed. And then I want to put it around the tower base with an angle of random and range 0 to 360. So it could be anywhere around. And we'll say I put random in range of 60 to 90. I think so this is where we would use that variable I created. So we would do the minimum range would be just to not have it spike in the middle of the tower itself, which would be a little funny looking. So I don't know, we could just call that maybe 20. And then the last variable would be, I think it's a tower base variable called spike growth radius. And now we have plugged in the variable. And this should happen at the moment unconditionally for every act. So if I play this, we should get a lot of them when I click on the green button. Actually, it's doing it before I click the green button. So, okay, here's why. Because I need to copy the animation condition. Okay, and now obviously from looking at that, it's just flooding the tower base itself. Let's change the radius to a minimum of 40. And let's double check what that even looks like. Alright, now it should spawn on click. Okay, now they're forming a circle around it, which looks kind of cool, but not exactly what I'm going for. And I'm still getting this little guy here. What is happening there? How many events did I make for those spawns? Let's disable this. Okay, now let's change the radius. 40, let's say 45 minimum. And then let's set the maximum to I don't know. Let's say 80. Give that a shot. Let's also see if we can make them greenish. Spike. Tint. And preview. Okay, again, these are just placeholders, but it's definitely spawning them around. And let's make it a larger area so that we can really test this out. Let's say 150. And then what I want to do what I want to do is test. What do I want to test? What am I trying to say? And who am I? Ugh, why is Gamora? I mean, I could literally just do if an enemy's in collision with it. Why not? Let's switch the enemy types that are spawning to a more basic type, because I've got this shielder, which has a shielding bug that I'm trying to work through. Let me pull up a more basic enemy type, which, let's say, the medium type. And that needs to be the spawner selection of 2. Okay, where did I put that? Okay, spawner selection, let's say from 2 to 2. Alright, so let's make sure that those are spawning. Should just be a little basic medium-sized shade. Okay, yeah, there it is. Now plop this down here. There's a spike growth. It should be able to extend out onto the path. Okay, and then what I want to do then is Tell you what, let's actually do the third size. They have more health, I think. And then do the collision check. So the collision check would be probably for the entire enemies group. And I think it would need to be from the enemy's side, not from the spike side, in terms of where to make that condition. So if the enemy is in collision with a spike, then enemy takes damage. Not if spike is in collision with enemy, because then I think it's going to try to target all of the enemies. So let's do, actually not here, I need for each object, enemies, I'll use the group. For each, repeat for each instance of enemies. Enemies in collision with spike. The enemy collision spike. What it's going to look for is to change the health. It's not letting me do that from the group. So let's just test it out on this one enemy type real quick. So instead of enemies in general, we'll do enemy... Actually, I remember what the problem is. I had an enemy backers group, so that's definitely what I needed to test. So enemy backers in collision with spike. There we go. Health. Change health points. Actually, apply damage to an object. Let's just say 1 for starters. Okay. And test it out. Should probably disable the firing of the shots, because they're pretty OP right now. Where did I put those? Toggle disabled. Alright, here we go. So now what I need to do, let's place a tower here. Green, it's gonna plop in all these spikes, which we'll replace later. Now I'm gonna send in the monsters, and when they hit that area, the red number in the middle should start decreasing. Yes, and very rapidly, because I didn't tell it to do it 1 time per second or anything. It's happening 1 time per act, but they're definitely taking damage. Alright. Over 1,000 damage to be precise. So that works. Now let's put I guess a timer in there to make it not obnoxious. So Earth Tower. All right, let's create a timer. An object timer. It doesn't really matter what we call it. I'll just call it spike damage delay. If it is greater than or equal to, and we'll say, I guess every second they can take damage from this. In that case, after they take the damage, we need to start or reset the timer. Let me actually copy that code over, paste it in, but change the name of the timer to spike damage delay. Okay, and then I need to also start this when the tower is created. Up here where the green button is clicked. For now. Later it might be if you select a particular upgrade or something. Alright, so now let's test it out. It should do the same thing, except the enemies will take damage once per second and not once per act. Get the spikes going, send in the enemies. Oh, you know what? This is good too, because we've set it to... Yeah, I put the timer on the wrong part. We do need to do that, but not what I was trying to do. So that delayed the amount of spikes that are spawned. Now they're spawning once per second. I need to do the damage once per second. So let's... Yeah, that's good. Let's change the name though. Instead of spike damage delay, we'll do spike growth delay. And that can be greater than, you can even say 0.5 seconds. Pretty generous there. And then let's copy this up to where the enemy takes the damage. Actually, it's right below. Paste. And paste. So now, the timer spike growth delay. Let's actually do spike growth damage. 1 second. Now the enemies should take damage once per second, and the spikes should spawn twice per second. And why do I not see any? What did I break? Okay. Right here. Spike growth delay. And I also need to add this to spike growth damage. Copy that, paste that. My goodness. Spike growth delay, spike growth delay. And then I want to copy the timer for spike growth delay and spike growth timer to start whenever the Earth Tower is created. Alright. Let's run that. There we go, we're getting some spikes now. They're on the path, which is good. Here comes the damage. Not taking damage. What is going on here? Come on, y'all. Come on. Okay, so spike growth damage timer. And that is, in fact, spike growth damage. It's because I changed the name. This is where manual entry is the killer. Okay. It worked better in my head. Alright, we're getting spikes. Let's see if the damage comes in. Kidding me? Spike growth damage. Spike growth delay. Just want to make sure I don't have like a copy and paste issue here. Okay, that looks correct. So it should start the spike growth damage timer when these other timers are started. If the enemy is in collision with the spike, and if the timer spike growth damage of tower base is greater than or equal to 1 second, then apply the damage to enemy backers and start or reset the timer spike growth damage of tower base. Let's check this out again. What are we missing? If I take the timer condition off, does it still work? Because it was working before. Is that really the issue, or is there something else that I've changed? That seems to be the issue. Because without it, they're definitely taking that damage. Okay. I think that the issue is the enemy up above where I have the spike growth, the growth delay, that is occurring under a repeat for each instance of the tower base, whereas this is an instance of enemies, and I don't think it can actually see that information, or at least it doesn't know which version to take. So what we do have is the spike itself, and we know that the spike is it is stuck to the tower base. So maybe we can reference it that way. So if spike is stuck to tower base, then if the timer, let's see how this goes. Let's see if this gives it access. Does not seem to work. All right, then let's take a different approach. I mean, each spike could, in theory, have its own timer. So let's just try that. And that timer, instead of starting when the tower is created, that would need to occur when the individual spike is created, which is here. So we will do start where we set the timer, spike, spike growth damage of spike. Then here, spike growth damage. Let's double check this real quick. So for each instance of the tower base, we're creating the spikes, and we're starting the timer spike growth damage of spike. And then for each instance of enemies, if they're in collision with a spike, and if the timer spike growth damage of spike is at least 0.5 seconds, then apply the damage and restart the timer spike growth damage of spike. Let's see if this shenanigan works. It's a mouthful reading this stuff out loud. Oh my gosh. Oh, there it goes. All right. That is working. Definitely working. Obviously looks a bit funny. I'll play with the Z orders and stuff. Probably have the enemies appear on top of it rather than under it. But it is working, so that's good. So that gives me another thing that the player can upgrade later on, which is the number of spikes, the number of damage per spike. I think I'm going to avoid it actually slowing the enemies because I want to break out abilities across multiple tower types, like a slowing effect might be applied to a cold tower, something like that. Let's go ahead and change the Z order, and then I'll probably call it here for this session. So let me go up to the enemy spawner. Create object, enemy. Change the Z order. I don't even know where I want them. Let's just say 100. Then I'll change the spike growth to 99. See how that looks. That should put the spikes underneath, in theory. Let's test it out. And go. Yep, that works. Now they're walking on top of those spiky things as intended. Obviously, as more and more spikes appear, the more damage they take when they walk across the whole thing. So, yeah, that's pretty good. Can definitely get a lot of multiplicative damage out of that if you increase the number of spikes and damage per spike. So, yeah, I like that. All right, well, I'm gonna take a break for now. I just really wanted to share this little part of the process with you, and lots more to come. Still have to go over the rest of these line items here, but we have implemented the light spawning plants, the leaf thorn spray, sort of. Really have more work to do on that. And then the spike growth damage area of effect. So those are at least somewhat in the works. And so next time, polishing those up and then moving on to another tower type. So yeah, thanks for watching. If you have any suggestions or questions, let me know in the comments. If you'd like to see more of this type of content, like and subscribe. And until next time, I'll catch you later. Thanks.